So before we get started with today's video sponsor is going to be ExpressVPN. So every time you're on the internet, your information can be hacked by hackers, and ExpressVPN actually protects you from hackers by encrypting your information so they can't get to it. This is most important, especially when you guys are using Wi-Fi from the airport, coffee shop, hotels, etc. Those are unsecured, so with ExpressVPN, it locks down your information, no one can get to it. Another cool thing about ExpressVPN is you can actually change your location. So say if you're here in the States, you can actually change it to overseas, making the internet think that you're actually from that country. Also, along with this, if you're a Netflix user, you can actually change your location and watch different shows. So some shows can only be broadcasted here in the US and then some overseas. The neat thing about ExpressVPN is you can change your location. So if you want to watch a certain show, you basically just click a button, change the location, and it'll reroute your Netflix to that location, and you can watch shows from over there. If you guys use my link down in the description box below, you guys will get 3 months for free. Go ahead and check it out. Again, thanks to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. What's going on, YouTube? Thanks for tuning in. Today's going to be a product review, and it's going to be on these custom strings here. These are made by a company called KO Custom Bowstrings. Found them on Instagram, reached out to them to see if they'll send me a set to do a review on, and the owner gladly accepted, and he sent these out for me to do a review, so I greatly appreciate that. I've had these on the bow for roughly about a month now. Just a little backstory on this. I did get it installed at a local bow shop. They kind of messed up on my bow. What they did was they pressed this in wrong. Supposedly the cams broke. They didn't tell me. I called a couple days later. They were like, oh, one of our bow technicians actually broke your bow. I was a little mad because they didn't call me to tell me what happened, but they did order me new cams. Everything from the draw module to the string stop is all new. Everything else is the same. The limbs are still the same. I checked everything over more than 10 times and everything is good to go. I'm not going to put them on blast just because I'm not like that, but I just want to make you guys aware of that, of why I haven't been shooting my bow for a while, is because this was actually out of commission for almost a month. If I had my own bow press, I would have done it myself, but I don't. It's a shop that I've been taking my bows for a while. They hired a new bow technician and he messed up my bow. And the crappy part was they didn't call me. I'm hoping they would have eventually called me, but my thinking with them not telling me from the beginning, they probably would have just ordered me new cams and installed it and never told me. Anyways, that's the backstory of why you guys haven't seen me shoot my bow for a while. Again, this is a PSE EVO XF30. So enough of that story. Let's jump closer to see these strings and cables. Like I mentioned, these are from KO Customs. They are based out of Ohio. Just some quick facts here. They did start making bowstrings back in 2019. The materials they use is BCY X99. The X99 has benefits and performance of 42X and 8190 combined into one material. So everything they use here is nice and uniform. I did go with the Flow Yellow. I've always liked neon colored bowstrings. It just makes it stand out a little bit better. I'll talk about it in a bit here, but all of the end loops are served, which is something you guys should look at if you are looking to get custom strings and cables. That there, and I'm not sure if you guys can see down there, but those are all served as well. Really nice serving, no fraying, no nothing. So I've had this for a couple weeks now, been shooting it for a bit. Going back to the end loops here, they are served with BCY Halo 0.014. Strings and cables have no creep, no stretch. Fuzziness is not there. That is the fibers here that are exposed to the elements, and these are abrasion resistant. So why would one want to get new strings and cables? A lot of strings and cables from the factory, they are decent, but some of them stretch over time and they don't last as long as custom made strings and cables. These strings and cables from KO Customs claim to gain 7 to 8 feet per second, which I believe is true. So the sight tape with my stock strings and cables, I was actually shooting 4 numbers slower than these from KO Customs. So this bow definitely, with the new strings and cables, is actually shooting faster than the stock strings and cables. I haven't coordinated it yet, so I don't know what my actual speeds are, but just from the sight tape, it is way faster than the factory strings and cables. Just a few things to look for is going to be the diameter of the serving material. So if you guys look here, it's going to affect how it's going to sit inside of these grooves here. So the tighter the serving, the more gap you're going to have in between the cams and the strings. These are served perfect, meaning that there's just enough space on both sides and it doesn't overhang the cams. Another thing, like I mentioned, is going to be the end loops. Make sure they are served like these ones here. Now you can get away with them not being served, but served end loops are going to make the cables last a lot longer because these have a lot of tension on them, and when you draw and these actually rotate, the serving is going to protect the little strands underneath it. And when you pull your bow, those strands are under a lot of stress, so you're going to want to put serving at the end of that, which helps reduce that. Another thing you're going to want to look at is the speed knocks. Make sure you get the correct ones and the string manufacturer knows what they're doing. That way it'll match the stock weights. These ones here are identical to the stock PSE speed knocks. And like I mentioned, these strings and cables did make my bow a little bit faster, so they do hold true to that. But yeah, that's all the specs I have for the strings and cables by KO Customs. I'll leave a link in my link tree description so you guys can go and check them out. I did make a few changes to this bow. As you guys can see, the new strings and cables, and I got the UltraView XL. This is the double pin. I did a video on that. Go ahead and check it out. I'll leave a link somewhere up here for you guys to check out. Still running the old but chewed Hamsky Trinity Hunter Rest. Going over to the arrows. These were provided by Victory. Shooting the VAP TKOs along with some Boning Blazer vanes. These are 4-fletch. These tend to fly really good with the broadheads that I'm using this year, which are the Tooth of the Arrow. I'll be making a video on those here shortly. These are the 350 spine, and these tuned out perfect. These are weighing in at about 440 grains, which is perfect for my setup. Enough of me talking, we'll just do a few shots here. So the release I'm using, I actually went back to the True Ball Goat. Before this I was shooting the Scott Apex, and then the Carter Wise Choice. I went back to this just because I want to try it with a hinge. Keep an eye out for that video here shortly. I'm going to try this in the hinge mode to see if I like it. I know I shot the Goat in the past. There's a video on this down in my video list. Go ahead and check it out. It's about a year old, but nothing's much changed with the Goat. But let's do a few shots here. I'm right about 32 yards. We'll see how these new strings and cables feel. So we're right about at 32 yards here to where the morale targets are. Well, so far, strings have not stretched. Poundage on this actually is still up to par. It's actually at 71 pounds. One thing I did forget to mention is the axle is actually dead on. With the factory strings, they stretched a little bit. It's closer to 30 inches. This is at 29 5/8. Brace height is right where it's supposed to be as well. Peep rotation is gone. Get it all within the middle. Let's keep shooting. The wind's starting to pick up here a little bit. Hopefully it dies down. Let's go check it out at 30 yards. The first two on the right is going to be my first two shots, and then this one's going to be my last shot. Definitely pull that one. All right, so we're roughly 45-ish, 46, 45. We're shooting down there. Since now I have this new mic, you guys should be able to hear a lot clearer, so I don't have to walk really close to the camera. I do have my prime lens on, so it doesn't need zoom. But yeah, I mean, everything seems to be tuned good. I did have to shim these cams to the right a little bit because I was getting a right hair. But one shim to the top cam and it fixed that. I'm shooting perfect bullet holes. Broadheads are shooting good out to about 70 yards as well. A little bit low. All right. If you guys don't have one of these, this is actually a homemade PVC bow holder I made. I made a video on this a long time ago. Go ahead and check it out. It costs like 50 bucks. Nice thing about it is you can customize it to whichever way you like, and it's portable, and you have to set your bow on the ground. They're all in there. I'm just gonna jump to 50 yards and do a few shots, and then we'll get my final thoughts on the strings and cables. All right, so we moved back to about 50 yards. I'm actually gonna range this here. .49. Take a few more shots with the PSE with the new strings and cables. We'll get my final thoughts. Finally had some nice weather. We literally had about 4 feet of snow back here the other day, and now it's all gone. Watching, I want to say that we're going to get another big snowstorm. That was really close to bullseye. I'll actually bring you down here to check out the grouping at 50. It's decent. So the bottom one's my first arrow. Second arrow is this one here. And then the third one's right in the middle. I said a little bit to the right, but that, which is an easy fix. Actually, I'm going to do 3 more shots just because I want to shoot this bow again. Weather's nice, so might as well. But anyways, let's get to it. Again, this is at 49 yards. Well, that's about it for today's video. Just want to say thanks to KL Customs for sending out these strings and cables for me to do a review on. Greatly appreciate it. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and check them out. I'll leave a link in the description box below. They also have an Instagram and their website. Really competitively priced, and the workmanship and the craftsmanship, time, and materials used is second to none. So far, these strings and cables have been great. If you guys have any questions, leave in the comment section below. I'll try my best to answer them. Until next time, be safe, everyone.